They say Rome wasn't built in a day, but here's what they never tell you. It didn't fall in a day either. The Roman Empire, a symbol of unmatched power, wealth and influence. For centuries, it dominated the world. Its armies were unstoppable. Its economy, a gold-plated giant. Its culture, a legacy still felt today. But behind the grandeur, something was quietly rotting. The empire that once seemed invincible was bleeding from the inside, not from swords or spears, but from something far more dangerous. Money, debt spiraling out of control, corruption infecting every corner of government. A currency devalued so badly people used it for scrap instead of spending it. The people lost trust, the economy collapsed, and the empire fell. Sounds familiar? This isn't just a story from the past. It's a mirror, reflecting where we might be headed today. Because financial collapse cannot always be detected with a naked eye. Sometimes it happens in silence, one bad decision at a time. In today's video, we're going beyond the history books. We'll uncover the financial chaos that led to Rome's downfall, and, more importantly, what you can learn from it, how to protect your money, how to spot the red flags, and how to build financial resilience before the cracks turn into a bigger hole. History has a voice, one that whispers stories to those who dare to listen. It carries the weight of legacies, hidden in plain sight, waiting patiently for the curious, the seekers. It teaches, it warns, and sometimes it doesn't just speak to us, it haunts us. In the early days of the Roman Empire, money meant something. The denarius, a silver coin, solid, trusted, respected. It wasn't just metal. It was the foundation of Rome's booming economy. Merchants traded it. Soldiers trusted it. The people believed in it because it held real value, pure silver, minted with purpose. It was honest money. And as Rome grew, the currency helped fuel an empire. Trade flourished across continents. Citizens prospered. The legions marched, paid handsomely in coin that gleamed in the sun. Rome stood tall, rich, proud, unstoppable. But all that glory came with a price. More land meant more enemies. More enemies meant more wars. More wars meant more soldiers. And more soldiers meant more money. The emperors wanted it all: glory, expansion, loyalty, legacy. But the treasury, it couldn't keep up. So, they took a shortcut, a quiet, invisible betrayal. They debased the currency. Bit by bit, they reduced the silver content in the denarius. What was once 100% pure dropped to 90%. Then 50%, eventually just 10%. But they kept minting them, kept paying soldiers with them, kept telling the people it's still worth the same. It wasn't. Trust began to crumble. Merchants raised their prices. Soldiers demanded more pay. Ordinary citizens watched their savings wither. This was the birth of inflation. Not just numbers on a scroll, but real suffering. Food became expensive. Basic goods turned into luxuries. And the empire, it started to crack. All because of one fatal illusion, that you can cheat money and not pay the price. As the silver vanished from Rome's coins, so did the people's trust. What once held real value was now just shiny lies. Merchants weren't fooled. They knew the coins were worth less, so they demanded more for the same goods. The price of bread doubled. Olive oil tripled. Even salt, once used to pay soldiers, became nearly unaffordable. And while the elite found ways to shield themselves, hoarding land, trading in gold, protecting their wealth through backdoor deals, ordinary Romans had no such armor. The farmers, the craftsmen, the mothers trying to feed their children, they were left to drown. Wages didn't rise, but prices did. Every single week, savings lost meaning. A lifetime of work reduced to almost nothing. People stopped trusting coins. They stopped trusting the system. And when money loses meaning, society begins to unravel. Barter returned, not out of choice but desperation. A sack of grain for a pair of sandals. 2 chickens for a jug of wine. Rome, the mighty empire of trade and commerce, was slipping backward in time, back to survival. And with it came chaos. Violence grew. Riots broke out in marketplaces. Factions are starting to form, blaming each other out. And all the while, emperors came and went, some trying to fix the damage, most making it worse. In the end, Rome didn't just fall to invading armies. It crumbled from within. Its economy, once its greatest strength, became its fatal weakness. A nation that loses control of its money, it loses control of everything. Now let's talk about today. We may not carry silver coins like the Romans did, but make no mistake, the cracks in our economy look eerily familiar. Proof: governments nowadays are printing money like there's no tomorrow. People are spending beyond their limits, drowning in debt, chasing a dream they can't afford. And inflation, it's not just a number on a chart, it's a daily struggle. Let's take a closer look at how inflation has shaken the global economy in just the last few years. According to a study by Macrotrends, the global inflation rate in 2023 was 5.69%, a drop from the previous year. But let's not celebrate just yet, because in 2022, inflation hit a staggering 7.97%, the highest in decades, up by 4.5% from 2021's rate of 3.47%. And that was already a jump from 2020, when it stood at 1.92%. Compared to 2019, that year saw a slight dip. But what came next was a tsunami. In just 3 years, the cost of living exploded. And behind every percentage point are real people, real pain. That's 7.97%. It wasn't just a random economic stat. It means higher grocery bills, skyrocketing rent, empty wallets, and anxious families trying to stretch every money they have just to get by. Meanwhile, for the wealthy, for those with assets, stocks, real estate, businesses, inflation became an opportunity. Prices went up, and so did their wealth. 2 worlds, one struggling to survive, the other thriving in the chaos. This is what inflation does. It doesn't just shift economies, it widens the gap. It decides who climbs and who falls. And if we don't learn to read the signs, if we don't prepare and take control of our own finances, history will just repeat itself. So, what's the takeaway? How do we avoid ending up like Rome, broken from the inside, buried under the weight of our own financial mistakes. The truth is, it starts with you and me. We cannot control the entire economy, but we can control how we move through it. We can choose to learn, prepare, and be prepared. So here are 4 timeless lessons that you can benefit from. 1. Value must be real. Rome pretended its currency had the same value, even when the silver was long gone. It was a lie, and people paid the price. In our lives, we can't fake financial security. A fancy car, designer clothes, a flashy lifestyle funded by credit cards. That's not real wealth. What is real? Savings, investments, skills, knowledge. The things no one can take from you. The things that build strength quietly, over time, without applause. If you want peace of mind, start building real value. It's not fast, but it's the kind of wealth that lasts through good times and bad. 2. Inflation is real. Plan for it. Rome didn't take inflation seriously until it was too late. We cannot make that same mistake. If your money isn't growing, it's shrinking, slowly, silently, day by day. Keeping it in a bank is fine for short-term safety, but over time, that money loses power. So, invest, even just a little. Start learning about your options. Protect your future self by making small decisions today, because inflation doesn't ask for permission, it just shows up. And you better be ready when it does. 3. Live below your means. Rome grew too fast, built too much, spent like the glory would never end. Sound familiar? We do this too, not as empires, but as individuals. We want more, faster, now. But that mindset, it's a trap, a devious one. Your life doesn't need to look like someone else's highlight reel. Comparison is the fastest way to go broke, mentally and financially. Live simply, build slowly. Focus on what you need, not what society pressures you to show. Because financial peace doesn't come from flexing. It comes from freedom, the kind that lets you sleep at night, stress-free. 4. Learn from the past. Rome's fall wasn't sudden. It was a slow erosion of values, economic and moral. And history, if we're willing to study it, has a strange way of repeating itself. So read, learn, understand how money works, not just today, but throughout time. Every empire, every crash, every recovery, it's all a pattern. And those who recognize the pattern are the ones who rise when others fall. Be the person who prepares, not the one who panics. The Roman Empire left behind a powerful lesson. Even the greatest systems fall when money is mismanaged, and the same goes for us. Without a clear financial plan, we're unknowingly setting ourselves up for failure. Having a strategy for your money isn't just smart, it's essential. Because growing your net worth takes more than luck. It takes intention, discipline, and the right mindset. Learn from those who've made mistakes and surround yourself with those who are walking the path of growth. Financial freedom doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you take control, when you decide to care before it's too late. Master your money, and you master your life. And the best part? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. Hey, you made it to the end. Thank you very much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. This project is a bit tedious for me since it is my first time doing video editing. So once again, thank you for watching. Drop down your comments below on what's your opinion on this video, or maybe any opinions on how my video can be improved more. I would appreciate it. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who loves about money, or maybe someone who loves to talk about history. Subscribe if you're ready to understand money in a way that makes sense. Just real talk with real stories. When we understand money, we decide our lives. This is Leah. I'll see you in the next episode. Until then,